Welcome and thanks for joining us for week 6's edition of the Coach's Show. I'm Adam Howe, your host. With me again this week, Coach Ryan Boyer of the Warsaw Wildcats. Coach, welcome back again.
Appreciate you having me on.
All right, this Coach's Show is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Susie Broderson, Shelter Insurance, Leanne Beeman, Community National Bank and Trust, J&D Pharmacy, Pitts Homes, and Tracy Spry and Associates CPA. So week 6, we see the Wildcats lining up. They're going to get ready to take on El Dorado Springs. That is homecoming 2022 out at Randy Morrow Field on the WHS Complex. Wildcats 4-1 now, 1-0 in conference. Eldo comes into that game 1-4 and 1-1 in conference. So before we get to that one, we're going to take a look back at week 5. That saw the Warsaw Wildcats take down Hogan Prep Academy 57-26. So if you like offense, this was definitely a fun game to be at. And scoring in every quarter, and of course most of it by the Wildcats. So touchdowns, good runs, long completions. And it really seemed to me and to others that I've talked to even that this may have been the most complete performance for the Wildcats to date.
Yeah, it was good. It was when we talk all 3 phases, and it's always nice when you can start the game out with a kickoff return. So that's
right.
That's a good jump start to everything. But yeah, we were very pleased with on all 3 how everybody competed and did well.
And we all know that at least through the regular season or the season period, that most coaches always say they feel their teams can be better in one area or another. But what impressed you last week, and what can the Wildcats still do better?
Yeah, it was. Last week, our big thing, we put a lot of responsibility on the kids, evaluating themselves from film, and then we really stressed, let's evaluate, are we doing everything we need to do Monday through Thursday? And so when Thursday came around, even we were talking pregame Friday, we kind of went through the checklist of, hey, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hands down our best week of practice we've had all season. So it's great to see, and the kids to see how that correlates to Friday night. Physicality, we always preach it, but we really stressed that last week. We knew they had good size, and then we knew they had good speed. And so to that, we knew that our discipline and our overall physicality had to be better than theirs. And then the other is, and we could say foot on the gas, is hey, you get up, don't get complacent, continue foot on the gas. Make sure, whether that be after the kickoff return or after the long pass, we were up, I think 14-0, and there was, 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Not a lot of time had gone by, and even coming out of the half, it was, hey, we got to make sure get a stop or respond to whatever they do, and the kids did good. As far as what can we improve on, just continue. You're always going to have some penalties, but continue to work to clean those up. Kids did a better job of that, and then on the defense side, we turnover battle. We always want to win that. Stress that. Defense played very well, but again, just little things if you're kind of getting nitpicky.
Well, I'm not trying to be nitpicky.
No, myself. Not you.
So you kind of talked about a couple things there that we're going to get to as we recap the game. And looking back at that first half, at least, you stole my thunder there when Josh Harbath returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. So the Wildcats got on quick, 15 ticks away, and Harbath picked the ball up at the 2-yard line, and I think in the paper I said pinballed his way through defenders.
Yeah. And
then a good-looking freshman, you get him out in the open, you're not going to catch him. And he went 98 yards for the score. So that was the way the Wildcats kicked everything off, literally. And then the Wildcats come back, and after forcing a punt on the next drive, Wildcats penetrated the red zone of the Rams, but then I think they got inside the 20, so they're at the 19, 18, I think, and then we saw some penalties knock them back.
Yep, penalties on a big sack. Yep.
Yeah, and then, but then the football gods are on your side because you're facing 3rd and 30, and I think Tayton went right, rolled back left, and found Jace DePriest, and on 3rd and 30 for a 38-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's one that you're like, son, But either way, it works for the Wildcats. They go up 14-0 after Whitaker scores a 2-point conversion. Then you said towards the end of the first quarter, Wildcats are up 14-0, but then we're driving and they stripped the ball from us. And one of the big linebackers that we talked about last week on the show just literally took the ball out of Tayton's hands. And he probably was a little bit, what just happened?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, their 2-point was no good, and then they go to 14-6. So they cut into us there a little bit. Then in the second quarter, Whitaker picks up a 4-yard touchdown run, and then Tayton on an 18-yard touchdown run. We led 28-6, and then they answered back when they needed to towards the end of the first half. Really put a good little drive together there, using number 4 a lot. I can't remember his name now. I should. I said it plenty on Friday night.
I hear
But anyway, they go down score, and it's 28-12 at halftime. So that first half, Harbath gets things kicked off. The 3rd and 30 play. Your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, it was just one, again, with preparation and you watch that opening kickoff, and I told our kickoff team, there were some assignments that were missed there. However, it's not always going to be perfect, how you recover, and Harbath did a great job. He made that first wave miss. And when you talk to returners, a lot of times that'll happen. There'll be 3 or 4 guys there. If you can make that first wave miss, then a lot of things open up and some lanes open up. And so very, very pleased there. And then, having that balance of sticking with the play, giving up on a play. I'm not going to lie. It was one where myself, I'm probably going, hey, run, or get down, especially after you just take a 13, 14-yard sack. And then I remember hearing probably a coach or a player going, hey, hit Jace, and at that point, I'm not even looking.
I think I heard that in the press box, too.
Yeah, I'm not even looking 50 yards downfield it was. And those are things that it's nice when they do go your way, and to be able to build on them, because, again, at that point, there was still a ton of ball game left, and it's like, hey, guys, and they're not luck plays, but those are big plays. Now we need to be able to settle in and drive and create drives and sustain drives. And
so I want to improv on the show just a little bit.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 30, and Tayton throws a 38-yard touchdown pass to Jace. Does Tayton come over and say, I had it, Dad?
We don't talk a whole lot. With it, I know he's very confident. I know he's confident in his arm. And so, again, there's not one thing we always tell kids, there's not a perfect 3rd and 30 play with that.
You don't have that in your book, right?
No, with that, what you try to do is take the approach of a 2 down and either maybe put yourself in field goal territory or try to take a chunk of it out and then put yourself in a 4th down situation that's maybe manageable. So, but no, those guys, and it was great to see. JC worked so hard, and the week before he was out with an ankle, and so get him back out there and be able to do some things and have some success. And again, you hear a lot of the same names often, but it's great when we can get everybody involved.
Right. So the Wildcats took a 28-12 lead into the halftime break, but then Hogan Prep comes back and they score. They cut that deficit to 28-20 early in the 3rd period on a 12-yard touchdown run, made it 28-20. But then Wildcats on their next drive, Tayton scores again on an 8-yard touchdown run. He tacks on another one with time ticking, under a minute left in the 3rd. So Wildcats go up 43-20, and things started kind of pulling away there. And then in the 4th quarter, Wildcats get another touchdown run by Whitaker at the 9:37 mark, somewhere in there. And then Gage scores another one on a 4-yard touchdown run in the 4th as benches emptied. I believe they broke one for 60 yards or something like that. But anyway, final 57-26, all in favor of the Wildcats, moving them to 4-1. So a big non-conference win for the Wildcats over the Rams. And, that Rams team came into the game 4-0, 5-0, something.
Yeah.
So, or 5-0, I guess, or 4-0 it would have been. And then some solid individual performances from several players. So, as far as the team goes and where it stands injury-wise, where do you feel the team is at here at the midway point of the year?
Yeah, you go through. I always say about as healthy as you can be. Kendall Bagley, he was out. He tweaked his knee there at the Sherwood game, and I think we'll probably still hold him out for one more week. But again, we were able to get Jace back, get some of these guys back, and and so many of these guys, it's what you see on Friday night is a finished product, or maybe a lot of work for them to get back. Cameron Sievers even earlier in the week on Tuesday tweaked his ankle pretty heavy. He was almost a game time decision, and again, those are things that he didn't show up on the stat sheet as much offensively, but that's something that we told him hats off to him, because him being out there drew the attention of a lot of their secondary, where they didn't know what his physical status was, and so just being a leader in that regard is something we always look to and lean on, and so but as far as health goes, we're pretty healthy.
Good. So looking at some of the stats from last Friday night, Wildcats as a team rushed 46 times for 309 yards. That's a nice almost 7 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns. Gage Whitaker led the team with 104 yards on 17 touches. That was over 6 yards per carry. He had 3 touchdowns. Tayton goes 16 for 91, almost 6 yards a carry, another 3 touchdowns. And then Bagley had 9 carries for 53 tough yards. Mm-hmm. So I think Nick, there's probably not such thing as easy yards ever, It seems like Nick gets a lot of the tough ones. So, but 2 players there, in Whitaker and Boyer, that both had hat tricks on the evening. So that's a nice little piece for them. And then through the air, Tayton finishes 4 for 7 for 88 yards, and 80 of those go to DePriest. 3 for 80 yards for him and 1 touchdown, and then Nick had a catch for 1 for 8 yards. So there was the 4 completions. A team total of 397 total yards. So I do want to get to special teams here though a little bit, because they played a much bigger role this week for the Wildcats. And you can talk about special teams, and people like to say, well, sometimes it doesn't matter, we're scoring touchdowns and whatever, but ask the Chiefs what special teams mean, right? So Josh Harbath, and we've already mentioned that he's just a freshman, but seeing a lot of varsity minutes. He had 5 returns for 189 yards, and that 1 key kickoff return for touchdown there, 98 yards to begin the game. James goes 5 for 5 on his point after tries, after struggling a little bit early, kind of finding his footing, so to speak. Cohen Walton, 9 kickoffs for 245 yards. And then even when we have to punt, and Tayton, I think, has told me before, I'm not the punter, I'm just the guy that punts. But he had 1 for 45 yards. So let's talk a little bit about special teams and your thoughts on those guys and their contributions.
And everybody sees the touchdown run from Harbath, and that's huge. That's a huge momentum shift right out of the gate. But he did a great job on his other returns. He even had one punt return that we did return, and we quit putting guys back there eventually. But but he caught that in traffic, and again, just the field position of that. It's great to see Logan, like I said, just settle in and just getting used to game reps. He's so spot on in practice, and he's done such a great job. It was just getting those live reps, and he did.
And Logan, I've heard through the grapevine that he may have nailed a 40-yarder in practice the other day.
Thursday. We kept moving him back 5 yards, moving back just to see. We knew what he was capable of, but again, sometimes you do that just to kind of put in perspective. Moving it back that far and you can do it. Hey, if we're gonna put you 20 yards away, kind of a chip shot. And so, and the big thing there for kickers and holders is they've cleaned up their timing. Him and Garrett both have done a great job of being able to do that. That helps your blockers. It just kind of helps everything. And
I think Logan now actually is responsible for more points in his first 5 games than his dad was in 4 years. So I think Mr. James, our new superintendent, I don't think scored any points.
Right.
Of course, you don't score many points when you're wearing number 61, unless you have an opportunity on defense. But either way, I think Logan has outscored his dad now. So congratulations, Logan.
Has passed that, yep. And even kickoff wise, our kickoff team, they adjusted and they were ready for the onside. And we kept thinking they're going to adjust differently, but Cohen did a great job of putting it where we needed it to go. And just pinning them there, and whether that started them at 35 or at the 20 or the one time at the 19, just a great job there.
And Cohen, a guy that's worn the jersey for 4 years.
Yep.
And even last year kind of worked with Howe when he was here, but has always been there as a guy that you can call on for those duties when you need him.
Without a doubt, he's such a great teammate about that. He takes zero offense to it. him and Logan work together, do a great job, and understand what each other's strengths are. And again, just a great team guy, and again, been a 4-year starter. And then Tatum with punting, we had some pressure there, and we kind of saw that on film, but I'd be lying to tell you that we repped a rugby kick, or that we repped his fake that went for a first down.
Well, it looked like you did.
Yeah. It was. It turned out well, and again, to slip in the field, the one time pinned him inside the 5, and then the next one, like I said, he was able to run for first down, and then we were able to go down and score off it. So yeah, special teams were such a big part of this game. They are every game, but in a positive light for sure.
But we obviously saw the difference they made last Friday night.
Yep.
On the defensive side, Gage Whitaker, another big game. I think he recorded another 7 sacks. That's the same total he had even the week prior. I said sacks. He had 7 tackles.
7 tackles, 1 sack.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be.
7 tackles. He did have 1 sack though. Nick Bagley had 4.5 tackles. Harveth had 3.5 tackles. Then Cameron Sievers had 3 tackles and 3 big pass breakups on pass attempts by the Rams. So that wraps up the Wildcats' 57-26 win over the Hogan Prep Rams. Wildcats move. What is it now, Coach? 4-1 and 1-0 in the conference. They're getting ready for another big conference game coming up on Friday night. We'll be back to talk about that one after this.
Hawthorne Bank supports our community. We also support our schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. Today I'm here with my friends, Coach Burdick with the Warsaw Youth Football League, and Coach Boyer. He is the athletic director for the Warsaw Schools. Coach Burdick, what do you do with the money that we use for sponsorship?
We use it to purchase gear and repair gear and to purchase new jerseys.
And Coach Boyer, we've worked together on a few things. What do we work together on?
We've worked on the sponsorship for our scoreboard. In addition to, we do our Warsaw basketball tournament and our Warsaw wrestling tournament.
And through sports, our young people will learn the basics of the sport. They also learn to keep good grades, and they also have learned to build good character. When you are a customer of Hawthorne Bank, you are also supporting your community and the high school. Come open your account today.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, Warsaw!
We do.
Hawthorne Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to week 6 of the Coaches Show. I'm Adam Howe. We're looking forward to the Wildcats taking on the El Dorado Springs at Homecoming 2022. With me again, like he always is, Coach Boyer, and we're looking ahead to the Bulldogs here. They come off of a loss 32-0 last week. That was played at Butler. And of course that loss to a good 4-1 Butler team.
Yeah.
So, but the El Dorado Springs offense, I saw players looked like a little bit of wing, going to try to run a little bit of option. But tell us about your overall thoughts on the team, then we'll talk about a few players.
Yeah, they've. I know the record is only the 1 win, and that came against Buffalo a couple weeks ago. And in that game, really hit their stride. I think they rushed for around 400 yards and did some things with this. They have a new head coach this year, learning a new system, and so there's going to be some growing pains with that. You kind of go through the roster there, have some young guys, but it's a team that they're getting better each week, and definitely a team. We told our guys all week, especially triple option team, can't sleep on it, and they don't throw a ton, but when they do, those guys are getting pretty open, and that's just because they're kind of, like I said, woolly in the run, and then try to burn one deep on you. So again, just another week of we have to be disciplined in what we do and discipline our approach, and you're gonna have a team coming in that's hungry with nothing to lose, and try to double their win total on the year.
And they're 1-4. They're coming into a homecoming game, and there's nobody likes to spoil a homecoming more than the visitors.
Yep.
So, but looking at some individual players, I believe Four is their quarterback, a good-looking athlete, likes to have the ball in his hands, but he's another young player. So yeah. I think we talked about it earlier that he's just a sophomore. And then 28 was an all-conference player. He returns from last year, and he's a good athlete, strong, runs hard. Then kind of running out of that wing, you'll see 24-9.
Yeah.
A lot of decoy stuff going on with them, but we have seen them with the ball in their hands. And then not a whole lot of action from the wide receivers. I think I maybe saw 3 pass attempts against Butler from last week's film. So, but you have to always be ready, like you alluded to there. at homecoming, trying to play with the role of the spoiler. And if a team wants to try to get behind you, they've got to use the receivers to do that. Their offensive line, big, but maybe the quickness of the Wildcats is an advantage there. So the Wildcat defense has been strong this year and even pitched a couple shutout halves. And so you're the head coach. Coach Miller's responsible for the defense, and Coach Morrison's responsible for the offense. And I want to know, what do the Wildcats need to do against El Dorado Springs to prove to you that they're for real?
Big thing that we've talked about all week, especially with being homecoming, is eliminate all the distractions. Always tell the kids, be a part of it, be a part of the parade, have fun with that, but realize homecoming revolves around one thing, and that's a game, and that's what your responsibility is. And so for us, I think it's coming out, getting going right out of the gate. Don't sit there and wait to see what they're going to do and react to what they're going to do. Again, last week we did a great job of playing our game, sticking to our plan, and jumping out on them early, and then again to staying on top, and and then if guys get an opportunity to get in, not letting there be any let off or fall off or anything like that. We were able to roll quite a few guys last week throughout the game, and they did a good job stepping up and spilling some of those other upperclassmen. So with that, again, beginning of the week was build off what you accomplished last week. Match that intensity, match that focus. But probably more than that is match that preparation. We've had a great week of practice. Kids are really seeing how that all translates, on to Friday. So that's for me. That's a big thing. Is get after it early, get up early, and again, gas on the pedal. Don't let your foot off. Don't let your foot off the pedal.
All gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
So on the defensive side for the Bulldogs, looks to be of a 4-4 variety.
4-3, yeah. Yep.
And then looks like when they're bringing any rush, it looks like it comes through the middle. So that's something that obviously Devin Bowl or lone return. Like, we can't even talk about lone returning. We're 5 games in. So, but anyway, the Devin Bowl will be ready for there at the center position. But the defense on that side, they're big and they're active up front. So they've got a couple guys that can make some plays. Second level, maybe plays downhill a little bit better than they do laterally. But a team really can't start much better than Warsaw did last week with Harvest kickoff return for a touchdown. But what can the offense of the Wildcats do against the Bulldogs to get a good homecoming crowd into the game early?
Yeah, it's just sticking to our game plan. We're always confident. We tell our kids things we're putting in place. We want to put you in a position to be successful, and understand that, hey, opening kickoff Friday and going to the house. That's great if it does, but just get back. Pick up where we left off. We complimented our JV a ton. Monday, how they pretty much picked up where we left off Friday, and rolled that right into practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and again, just, hey, you got a thing going. Keep it rolling. We take pride in and how we conduct ourselves in our run game and even in our pass game. We're never afraid to throw the ball, but again, continue to be downhill runners. Win on the line. Again, last week we talked a ton feet and hands, so we eliminate those holding penalties, and that's no different this week.
It really, momentum's set by, and the tone of the game is set by your ground game. Most of the time. And the Wildcats, they've seemed to find their momentum here in the last couple games, and of course, finding your momentum right here at the midway point of the season is when you're looking to get rolling. And the Wildcats really hitting their stride right now. So Wildcats going to take on the El Dorado Springs Bulldogs here. They're looking for their second conference victory in the Ozark Highlands. And we'll be back to wrap things up after this message.
Are you missing that human touch with your bank? Come talk to a real person at Community National Bank and Trust. We're your local bank that's small enough to know you, yet big enough to offer the best products. Stop by and see us at 101 South 65 Highway in Lincoln or 1695 Hilltop Drive in Warsaw. Your community, your bank, your relationship. Community National Bank and Trust. Federally insured, locally awesome. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show, week 6 here, and Wildcats getting ready to wrap up a busy week of Warsaw sports when they take on the El Dorado Springs Bulldogs on Friday night for homecoming 2022. Looking back over the last week, and Coach, just chime in here with me. I'm sure I missed things.
It's all good.
Last Saturday, youth football flag. I'm not sure what they did. You'll know at least one result.
I think 1 and 2. I think it's 1 and 2. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 3rd and 4th grade guys had a bye, and then 5th and 6th actually got their first win. And I think they played up at Crest Ridge, maybe beat Windsor, or maybe they beat Crest Ridge at Windsor.
Yeah, I think
Either way, it doesn't matter. They won.
Yeah.
The John Boyce Middle School volleyball team, A and B teams, they both went to Buffalo, I think.
Yep.
So they played Buffalo. They played in their junior high Ozark Highlands Conference tournament. Both the A and B JBMS volleyball teams brought home first place finishes.
Yep.
So impressive wins by the A and B volleyball teams there. So congratulations to those girls. And then the cross country team ran down at Hermitage. On Monday night, JV football, like you said earlier, they picked up right where the Wildcats left off last Friday. They beat Hogan Prep 42-0 at home. And then Tuesday night, we saw 7th grade lost junior high football game down at Buffalo, but a close one, 14-6. And then junior high 8th grade also lost down there. Varsity volleyball went over to Butler. They took another loss, but the volleyball team, the JV side, they won over at Butler, beat the Lady Bears. And then junior high volleyball, they went to Sherwood. They won yet again. So a lot of good wins on the volleyball side of things there from the young groups. Wednesday night, varsity volleyball over at Windsor, they did pick up their second win. So they're at 2-11-1 now. The JV volleyball Lady Cats, they won at Windsor also. They improved to 13-2-1, and I think they gave Windsor JV only their second loss of the year.
That's right. Yep.
Thursday night was varsity volleyball at home, and that was against El Dorado. Of course, Friday night, home versus the El Dorado Springs for varsity football. And on Saturday, flag football is 3 games at Warsaw.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm sure you've got several little bitty Wildcats that are really looking forward to playing on the big field.
Yep.
So.
9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11. So looking for some entertainment. Trust me, it is good entertainment
It is.
at the flag football ages. So go out there 9, 10, and 11, catch some flag football guys. I'm sure they'd love to see a crowd. They're really, I'm guessing, looking really forward to getting their name over the speaker.
Oh yeah.
So, and then youth football, 5th and 6th is on a bye. 3rd and 4th, they go to Lincoln. They're going to take on Crest Ridge. And then cross country runs down at Camden. So a busy week. And it's homecoming for the Wildcats. Friday night, they host El Dorado Springs Bulldogs. And a lot of activities have led up to the game throughout the week. There's spirit days, players visiting elementary schools, pep assemblies, parades, and floats. And obviously there's a coronation at halftime. There's a dance afterwards. Participated in any of that yet?
Not yet, but I will be. We all participate in it. Anybody on staff, you're in it whether you're fully in it or not. No dressing up for me, but
No dressing. So you didn't look like Adam Sandler on Tuesday.
I didn't. But some of the teachers we joked the Y2K day. I don't think we dressed a whole lot different than we do.
We're still in the 2000s, right?
Exactly. So.
All right. And then, so what else is going on out at campus this week that Wildcat fans need to know about?
Quarterback Club this week. Quarterback Club members, Hawthorne Bank's putting that on. The parade starts at 12:45 on Friday. Go down Main Street, finish down by the harbor. Our community always does a great job coming out for that. Our kids get really excited for it. They work
And they
hard.
throw a lot of candy.
A lot of candy.
Like, I think Tyler and I, we load up on Friday for homecoming.
Get you through to Halloween for
Right.
sure. So those things are going on. On the football side of things, we always invite back our youth programs, our middle school programs, and then any alumni that want to come in for pregame. That takes place in the high school gym. We typically get in there a little bit after 6:30. So they meet by that back gym door. We'll have a coach there, and there's enough people around to let them in. And our big thing there is let's bridge the past, the present, and the future. It's a neat experience.
And a really cool, and I don't get to do it a lot because I have to be up in the press box talking on those Friday nights. But I've seen it before. So I have taken time to say, you know what, somebody else do these announcements. I'm going to run down there and check it out. And a super, super neat deal because what I've seen is a lot of the guys who come back that are former players will line along the stage and stuff like that. But to see the young guys in there, the flag guys all the way up through all the way through junior high. Kind of what we do is we kind of pair them up, and they go up there and they sit in amongst all the players. You ask the team now to kind of spread out a little bit, let these guys sit in between you, and it's kind of like they got a kind of a big brother to watch for that night.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, the two things that we always stress, number one is, you know, who you play for, it's across your chest, not on your back. You know, you play for Warsaw. But then also the number you wear. You know, it doesn't just represent who you are to these young guys. You know, and I can remember being young, and you try to find your number on the field, and then, you know,
and you hope it's on the field.
And you hope it's on the field, yes. And then you know, for the older guys, you know, for your mom, you know, they do the same thing, you know. And if you still have your jersey and you still fit in your jersey, feel free to wear it, or your Letterman's jacket, or whatever you see fit. But we really do. We hope that we can have a good turnout for that. You know, if again, if you're an alumni, you want to bring your son, daughter, or anybody in there, that you're more than welcome to. But again, that's about 6:30. We start talking about 6:40, and then we all take the field together.
And then a big raffle going on like we do every year for the quarterback club.
Yes. With that, and do you know more about that raffle? I know a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a helmet and a football. That's what I know.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking weeks ahead here. Sorry about that. Yes, autographed. It's silent auction, stopped by the Booster Club trailer. Autographed football, autographed helmet. Again, they usually run that all the way through the third quarter. So you pop over. This year's team, they sign it, and great cause. All the money goes right back to the program. And so if you want to get in on that, again, that'll be over at the apparel trailer through the third quarter.
And I think there are, speaking of other raffles, there are raffles by I think Band has a beef maybe, and I think somebody cheerleaders I think
four-wheeler.
They've got a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
You know, how cool would that be? So all right, so it's the Wildcats back at home this week hosting the El Dorado Springs Bulldogs. That kickoff set for 7 p.m. and we look forward to seeing you there for homecoming 2022. Again, if you're a former player or a future player, find your way down to the back door there about 6:30. They're going to let you in. You get to be part of the coach's pregame. And as a reminder, if you can't make it out to the field, you can also watch all Wildcat football games live on BCE TV, where Matt Dove and Drew Burdick always look forward to bringing the games to you right to your home. So, thanks for clicking in today. Head coach Ryan Boyer, thank you. I'm Adam Howe, and I'm going to the house.
This has been a BCE TV production. Thank you for watching.